Here we go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday, guys. We have a pretty kick-ass show that I'm excited to get going with you all. We're going with the Slim Fit crew today. We have Bunny, Kicks, and Sig, and myself, Clemente. I'm going to be your host for today while the rest of the crew is coming back from Amsterdam. And we have overnight, we got some pretty insane news. We're going to talk about the Memecoin debut, why the hell it's sitting at $1.5 billion in fully diluted market value. We have ApeFest kicking off today. I'm very curious to see what Bunny thinks of it and if there's any performance risk with what might go down over at ApeFest in Hong Kong. And we'll be talking a little bit about SBF's verdict. I don't think that there might be a little bit on the bone there, but mostly will be about meme. Real quick, guys, before we get started, I had a Bunny. I'm very curious on your energy drink expertise here because my coffee machine is broken, and this morning I woke up feeling terrible. I didn't sleep enough, so I got myself a Celsius, and these things are jam packed with caffeine. My heart is like palpitating right now. Do you ever
that's
have
what they
those?
do. That's what I've never had a Celsius. I think Celsius actually has more caffeine than the ones that I drink than the Prime Energies. But so if the Prime Energy, it gives me a ton of anxiety. It's a weird feeling.
Dude,
Celsius has more caffeine. You got to be ready to be bouncing off the walls.
I'm absolutely wired right now. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like my hands are like shaking. I looked at it as 250 milligrams of caffeine after I drank it. I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
That's a lot of caffeine.
It's absurd. Real quick, Kicks. We had you on the show, I think, a little bit more than last week, and I was looking at Solana's price. Basically, when you joined the show last, Solana was like sub $30, and it had a pullback. It's down like 12% over the last 24 hours, but it's literally gone up almost 40% since you were last on the show. Do you own any? I'm curious what you make of the recent price action with Solana and crypto overall.
Yeah, it's not a big allocation, but I own a decent amount because in May and June, when there was ETH shitcoin season, I had made good money on Solana NFTs in 2021 and 2022, but I just kept it all in Solana. So it went from being worth a lot of USD all the way down, but I never sold it. And then in May and June, there was some meme coin, shitcoin action going on Solana, and I doubled it up. So I think I have just shy of 1,000 Solana, maybe 700 Solana or 800 Solana, and I've just been sitting on it, so I'm happy with it.
Damn. Okay, so you got a good. What percentage, if you were to share, of your crypto portfolio, would you say is in Solana from a percentage point?
I don't know, 5%.
Damn.
10%. Yeah, 5%, 10%, somewhere in that range.
So that's lower, I think, than Nick and Pio and Easy. They're at probably more in the 30, 40, 50%. They've
Nick
gone on a
Pio are that high?
He's like a salami maxi.
It's insane. If you were listening to the show yesterday, it was literally like Nick and Pio basically just going on a rant about how Solana is better than Ethereum, and they're literally just Solana maxis now.
I don't know, man. They sound pretty price reactive because I don't remember them talking so much about it when it was $20. So I wonder what their average cost is. But hey, I like the bullishness.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna kick off the show. I would assume this is gonna be very meme heavy. And I would love if anyone has experience claiming. If you claimed your meme airdrop today, if you have captain's exposure, if you have any additional context you can give us, we would love to have you up on stage. Or if you have any takes on Memecoin, if you bought any, please request. We'd love to have you up. I'm running the ship today, so Pio can screw himself with not wanting to have as many people up on stage. We're running the show. We're gonna have an absolute gangbuster show. And by the way, if you can support the show, if you're able to go to that purple comment button and either comment, retweet, or bookmark the show, believe it or not, bookmarking
With
a
that-
tweet, bookmarking
that
the
book-
show is a massive, it's probably the biggest growth catalyst for a tweet. So if you guys can bookmark it, it will get this show to as many people as possible.
Really? I always thought it was like the retweet. I've always been hanging my hat.
Retweeting is great. Retweet. I mean, but like, I also don't like asking people to like retweet something so often because it's just like it takes over your
Well, they can
timeline. Big
unretweet
ass.
it after the show.
Yeah, you can. Well, let's do that. So if you can
And then
retweet the show,
retweet it, and then you retweet it tomorrow.
so yeah, let's do that. This is the NFT brought to you by NFT God. We got his advice on this. He says you retweet the show right now, you unretweet it afterwards, and then you retweet it again 12 hours later. So
We got the quote retweet. Do we go in with that next?
quote retweet. Actually, quote retweets have been doing better recently, believe it or not. If you
I always
quote
think
retweet,
bookmarking is a bit of a hell though. How many of you actually go back into your bookmarks?
I've never bookmarked a tweet.
I bookmark everything. I never go back into my bookmarks, but for the show, let's bookmark. We're going to bookmark and then that's going to be our homework for the weekend.
so I bookmark literally probably 25 tweets a day. Because when I see a good tweet and that I want to talk about on the show, that I want to bring up, or that I want to add to the newsletter, I bookmark it. So I'm a bookmark extraordinaire. And also whenever I see, but yeah, anyway, so if you can bookmark the show, let's see if we can get up to 50 bookmarks when we kick this thing off, because it's going to absolutely blast the space. Anyways, Kicks, if you are running the weather report today, I would love to kick it off whenever you're ready.
You got it, coach. And also, I bought some meme early this morning. I was up early, so I'm one of the
Heyo.
Emos. Hello, hey today, welcome today. It's Friday, November the 3rd. Market volume coming in 16, highest since August 17. Blur 12.5, OpenSea 2.5. Looks like we're getting some Blur airdrop farming at the finish line here. Looking over at the NFT market leaders, mostly red. Captain's down 27% post meme airdrop, but they're up because of that meme airdrop overall. Pudgy's down 4%. Bored Apes down 2% to sub 30 ETH. Looks like Buddy's broke again. Other
Ouch.
movers include Grapes up 34% to 0.84. Potatoes down 19%. Yoga Pets up 35%. And Cryptodes are up 16% to 0.7 ETH. Over the past 24 hours, the jury found Sam Bankman-Fried guilty of all 7 accounts against him. He faces a maximum of 115 years in prison, with final sentencing happening on March 28th. There's a chance he could get an additional 5 charges if they want to do a second trial. Looks like he's already screwed. Looking over at crypto, the large cap run has finally cooled off. Bitcoin and Ethereum down 3%. Solana down 12% to $39. Overall red day for most of crypto. Bored Ape Yacht Club holder exclusive ApeFest drop has gone live once again after running into authentication issues last night. And their highly anticipated Bape collaborative drop will also go live tonight at 9 p.m. as ApeFest kicks off. Lastly, the biggest story is Meme's debut. The Meme Lamb token has debuted at a fully diluted market cap of 1.5 billion, with holders able to claim massive profits under the current market cap. The only problem, only about 20% of that is unlocked today, starting with maps and valuables and the fire sale, with future unlocks to be announced. Captains are down 26%, potatoes down 14%, with the Meme Lamb participants feeling quite euphoric. That's it. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Kicks, for as usual crushing the weather report. I'm going to read off some quick stories from the Nifty Daily Digest. Everyone, you can go subscribe at thenifty.com. That will get sent to you every single weekday morning. To kick us off, we had NBA superstar rookie Victor Wembanyama. His one-of-one So Rare card sold for 61 ETH yesterday. That's $110,000. I'm going to go share that real quick. That's pretty wild. And he had a pretty good game yesterday. Bunny, if I'm not mistaken, he dropped like 38 points last night. So that's a pretty
Have you watched him play yet, Clemente? He looks like a fucking alien, dude. He's like 7'5" with an 8-foot plus wingspan, and he's like insanely athletic, dude. He's like a cross between KD and like Giannis. It's crazy.
He's an absolute machine, and he's built like Slender Man, and he's extremely flexible. So it'll be interesting.
The best comp to him, Slender Man.
Have you guys ever read Ender's Game, there was this guy in it named Bean that was like a clone, and they like forgot to like turn off his growth hormone, so he just like kept growing bigger and bigger over time. I feel like they may have fiddled with this guy's growth hormone at a young age.
There's something going on here. I'm definitely not built like him. I'll tell you that. And he was dressed as Slender Man for Halloween, which is where I got that from.
Here's the thing, Clement. No chance this guy's a good golfer, because like just with that wingspan and how high he is, you could beat him in golf. So you just got to focus on a sport that you can be better than him at.
Yeah, exactly. And we had the second story is after hitting an all-time high this week, RLB, which is Rollbit's token, it dipped 10%, but it's still holding a market cap of 660 million. I'm actually want to touch on that real quick later on in the show, but it's interesting to see these tokens continuing to rip. And I was very surprised by that at $660 million valuation there. We have remnants by X copy is going to be distributed to rare pass holders today at roughly 11 a.m. Eastern, and the snapshot for the rare pass for these will be taken at in about 45 minutes. So be on the lookout for that. The rare pass is currently sitting at a 10.7 ETH floor, so pretty impressive there. We'll see what the price action is like on that X copy collection and rare pass following the airdrop. Lastly, we had a Skull of Lucy sell for the first time since August 28th. This one coming in at 75 Ethereum. So nice little sale there. Congratulations to the buyer and seller and Sam Spratt for continuing to crush it there. But let's get into it. Let's talk all things Memecoin. So Memecoin debuted this morning. It was at 4 a.m. Eastern. That trading went live on Binance. It's had an absolute monster debut, a $1.5 billion fully diluted market cap. There's a little bit of a nuance here. And if anyone wants to share their perspective, has any takes on anything Memecoin related, feel free to request and come up. But from what we know right now is that Memeland NFT holders were able to claim their meme rewards. And for example, a human captain was able to claim roughly $13,000 worth of meme coin at the current prices. So it's done like a 20x plus than the valuation that was given to it during the pre-sale. So it is pretty wild that captains holders were able to claim that much. The only thing I'll say there, the caveat is that you can't sell any of it as of now, unless you are able to claim, unless you claim the maps or valuables from it. So it's a little bit of a nuance. And the hard thing was for me, as I'm trying to gather information for this, it's very hard to find like a 101 sheet. Like I'm pulling from like 8 different tweets trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. It is very wild to see this holding at the price that it is. Kicks, you said you bought some earlier today. You bought some meme coin. I'm very curious to hear your perspective on why you bought it and at what market cap you purchased it at.
I bought it around 200 million market cap circulating. I think FDV is at like 1.9 billion right now. Yeah, I just bought it simply because this is like how like 90% of airdrops I've seen in this space work, which is the second it launches, you get the huge nasty red candle down, and then it bleeds out for a couple of hours, and then the sellers kind of exhaust their way out, and people that weren't going to sell like haven't sold, right? So like they're holding, and then you kind of get net buyers come in. And I mean, generally, like what we saw a lot like in 2021, 2022 is you get like after it bottoms out on day one, you get like a nice, at least like a nice, like, 2-day run. You can probably get like, a double out of it. I'm definitely not like buying it so that I can like, burn meme for like a Memeland Twitter handle or something like that. I'm just trying to make money here. I'm gonna be straight. Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't put a ton of money. I put in like $2,000. I put in like a little bit more than an ETH, but it'll be fun for like a little trade, to see how it works out.
It's great to hear. I appreciate your perspective, especially as someone that's been in this, participating in this ecosystem, the NFT ecosystem for quite some time. Bunny, what do you think of that purchase?
I mean, it seems like it's going okay. He got in like early enough. You were actually awake then, right? So like
Yeah, I was up at 5 a.m. Eastern.
Do you have like an exit target or
Double? Just as close as soon as that 1.25 ETH looks like 2.5 ETH on Dex tools, I'm gonna just slam the sell. I don't even care if it goes up 10x from there. Yeah, and like
I think that's like the only mindset to have, right? I think anybody who's looking for like a 10x on this is like out of their minds, right? Like,
yeah, and there's a certain point where people that are holding on to their bag, that are like super bullish on meme land, all of those people in their head have like a number that when they see that number, they're like, okay, like I'm bullish, but I'm also bullish on cash.
Well, and the interesting thing is, and I'm going to throw to Crypto for NFT here in just a second, who said she bought some earlier this morning at 4 a.m. when it debuted, Kick. So I think you have someone on your boat. The thing that I think is interesting, right, is Captains has dipped to 4.2 ETH, right? So at current prices, the Captains that are sold right now, if I'm not mistaken, come with over $10,000 worth, basically more than Captains are worth right now. The meme coin comes with it. So basically the entire market, from what I'm seeing, is saying this should not be worth 1.5. It should not have a $1.5 billion market cap or fully diluted, right? And then you have these future unlocks, which to me are troubling. And by the way, Bunny and I were trying to give price predictions yesterday. We couldn't have been more off. Bunny and I were aiming. We were like, yeah, we might buy it like a $300 million fully diluted valuation. This thing has absolutely rocketed. So it's very interesting to see. I'm very curious to see who's buying at these prices, to be honest with you. Signal?
Look, Clemens, I think that's one of the things about this entire drop is that it's been very challenging to figure out the numbers on this. And like to the point where I heard NFT statistics say, does anybody, like in a space before, he said, has anyone made any money on this? And this is coming from, Sam, who is like the godfather of numbers and charts. And so if Sam's finding it confusing, I just think it's sort of like a signal to how confusing it is for everybody else. You really had to be in the captains community to understand what the valuables had, what the maps meant in terms of this airdrop, even though people are saying like, okay, XYZ participant like Dingaling got this amount of airdrop. Unless you know like where he bought, where he sold, you don't actually know if he made money on that particular airdrop, because it depends on the maps and the valuables. So there's so many moving parts here. And I think that's one of the reasons why the estimation of what the TVL will be when it first came out, people massively underestimated, or in this case are overestimating it. It's really difficult to just be like, this is, someone like Spencer would normally come in with a pretty accurate number. And I think even probably he might have underestimated how well this drop has done. I even saw a tweet where there was a tweet from Spencer who was like, the alpha was to buy something, to buy Captains and Flooring Protocol, do XYZ, and you would have got an extra 2 ETH. So there's just so many ways this could have been played, and it's confusing to the market. And I think within the confusion, the people who understand it are the ones who made money on this. But it's not as simple as Ape airdrop, which was just land in your wallet, $20, $30, and everyone went off to the bank.
Yeah, the tweet that Signal's referring to is Spencer saying, in case you're following, the play was to buy Captains on Flooring Protocol and lock as many in a safe box as possible, then unlock them and claim the airdrop, which was basically a free 2 ETH per captain with no risk. I would go ahead and say that 80 to 90% of the people listening have no idea what the hell that means, but it's a very intricate. The whole meme play has been a very play that's friendly to the people that are in the ecosystem, right? Like if you were super plugged into meme land and what's been going on, you collected maps, you played the games, you did the meme coin farming, all this different stuff. I mean, I would assume you're absolutely crushing it, but how many people have actually been able to claim and actually make money from this? The fire sale participants, I'm assuming, have just been absolutely dominating because you were able to sell that. So that has to be an absolute win.
But the fire sale went to the holders, right? So they could have just claimed it themselves.
So the fire sale, Bunny, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was captains holders, for example, like a human captain had a guaranteed pre-sale allocation. They were able
Yeah,
to
and then there was like those codes, right? I think there was a small percentage
But
of
you could just use all the codes on yourself, right?
yeah.
So it was basically a private sale to holders. Like, so you can almost just like consider it like part of their
But it's
unlock.
funny because like pre-sales in like the meme coin world are typically like frowned upon. Like nobody likes them.
Yeah.
The interesting thing was, though, what happened was with captains, for example, is that pre-sale happened, captains dumped slightly, and then we had the Binance news literally come out right after that, and captains pumped like 40%, if not more, after that.
Yeah, that was a big fucking move.
If you had any, like, if you were to trust, yeah, looking back at it, this was all like everyone has been saying on the timeline, like, I can't believe we faded this. Like, I faded another one. Like, in hindsight, it was so obvious. And
I actually gave it as the October pick at the beginning, so not everyone faded it. Just want to
Signal knew. The Signal was on top of it. Signal, we've been celebrating you the last 2 days for coming back and winning that the October challenge.
Crazy come from behind.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. They're obviously doing like a very strong launch. I mean, it's not just that they're getting like listed on Binance right away, but they have a lot of like strong co-marketing going on with Binance. I think, this just shows that Ray's like very well connected in the space, and like the company is like respected as legitimate. I think like Sigel made a good point. There's a bunch of people that bought in at different prices. So there's people that are super bullish that may be way up, maybe slightly up. I mean, the people that have been in since the beginning, you know what I mean? When you got a lot of these things for a lot cheaper are probably up massive. People that bought when it was at 10 ETH, they maybe break even. There's people all across the spectrum in terms of like, whether they made a lot of money or didn't make money. But I mean, I think the interesting thing is like now these things are sort of like Bored Apes. And you put, I think BL8 said it, like holding a captain for future coin dripping is basically like a staking play without like having to stake it. So now like everything is kind of pegged to meme price in the ecosystem now, which you could say is like a scary thing, right? Because that means like if meme price goes down by 50%, then you would assume all of the other assets would go down by a percentage, maybe not exactly 50%, but maybe by like 30%. But that also means that there's a strong incentive to try to make the meme price go up. So that doesn't happen. But like we saw with like ApeCoin and Bored Apes over like a long-term horizon with like, the emissions coming out that, that there definitely was like correlation between, the prices there. So like now it's like the whole kind of network of those NFTs and the whole thing is tied to meme now in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and there will be, I believe, what's next on the roadmap is to start introducing these meme sinks, right? So, like, I look at it as like similar to like what Rollbit's doing is, where they have an actual business, and when the business does well, a percentage of that of the revenue goes to burning the token, which reduces the supply, which creates hopefully more price action in the upwards direction. Crypto for NFT, thanks for coming up here. I saw you. I saw you. Welcome up. Super excited to hear your take. You said you at 4 a.m. you bought some meme coin here. I'm curious to hear how that experience was like and what your bullish or bearish take is on it in the future.
So I missed the whole captain's ecosystem. That's the one blue chip project in the whole, I guess, blue chip system or community that I have missed, and I felt pretty bad about it. But I have access to international version of Binance, so I set my alarm at 3:55. At 4, I jump in. No, actually 3:55. What I realized that they have a 30 days, I guess, staking reward in the launch pad of Binance. You could stake BNB or TUSD and some other, a few other stable coins. So what I did is I bought $1,000 worth of no, actually 1,000 of TUSD I staked, and then at 4 o'clock it was very smooth. I guess what did I do? I sold my TUSD to, I guess because you can only buy with USTD. So I bought another remaining $500 of meme. The whole process was very smooth.
Wow. And did you have any? I know you said you've had it, and you've had exposure to a lot of these other blue chip collections in the past. Did you participate in the ApeCoin airdrop a year and some change ago?
Yeah. Yes, I was in the ape ecosystem, but I bought them late. I had 2 apes I bought at the peak, but I also had mutant that I bought I think 3 ETH, and I sold at 24 ETH. So I had some losses and some gains, but I kept one Bored Ape and I've been staking since then. And it's pretty handy because, you know, from time to time when I need ETH or I need money, I just sold my ape. So I don't have a lot of ape left, a coin, but I still have my Bored Ape that I'm staking.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that's it. And it's interesting. So you have no captain's exposure. You have only Memecoin, because
That's right.
a commenter said that basically captains right now, because of their allocation that they're going to get in future airdrops, they basically have a staking aspect to it, similar to Bored Apes and ApeCoin. Do you feel like it? You know, I like to compare this, or I want to try to compare this to ApeCoin and the airdrop that they did in the future. And we all know how that played out after the land drop. It's basically been pretty much down only. I believe ApeCoin's down like 95% plus since its debut, or since the top. Do you feel like, or is there any fear for you that this might play a similar role, considering that the fully diluted market cap is almost at $2 billion?
I echo Kix and also Bunny's sentiment. I don't believe this has any legs to go, because I bought immediately at when the market opened. My price was 0.023984, and the highest it reached was like 0.27. So I don't feel, and also there's a lot of unlocking coming up. So that's why I only put in $1,000, just my play money, and I think I will probably also put a limit order to sell at around 2.5
Got it.
times.
Interesting. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, crypto.
I like
Thank
that.
for
And Clemente, I think that like a lot in this space, it's kind of funny. People like kind of pick a target, and then like the market, as it goes closer to the target, the market believes in more, and then you pick like a new target higher.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if people start saying like this should be a top 100 coin, right? And like a top 100 coin would be a circulating market cap of like 422, which would be like a little short of like a double from here, right? And then that would put that near Pepe, which is at like a 444. So it'll be like interesting if it does that, if it's, you know, because like if enough people kind of believe, then it starts to become reality. But like when people start saying like, you know, this is going to be, this should be at Dogecoin levels, then, you know, that's probably a good signal to exit the short-term trades.
What's crazy is it's 3x the market cap of ApeCoin right now.
Jeez. So from what I'm hearing, and basically correct me if I'm wrong, Bunny, and in case you're basically anyone here, I shouldn't be looking at this from a fully diluted market cap point of view. It's more of what's the market cap right now, and what are these token releases going to look at for the next 30 days, basically, and try to play it from there, because that supply is going to be rolled out in a continuous perspective. ApeCoin, for example, was pretty much a way larger dump right away that people could just sell. This is completely different. You have people claiming it, but they're looking at $10,000 on their screen, but they're not able to sell it. So they're like very invested in what's going to happen. And then they also have the meme coin farming, which is interesting as well. Signal, I'm curious from your perspective, do you feel, because from my end, it feels a little too complex for me. Like for me, I'm like, dude, I just want to press buy and like not have to worry about like, oh, when's the next unlock going to be, like what's coming up next? But I'm curious what you think, Signal, and then I'll throw it over to Bunny.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to blend my two questions, like your question and the question I was going to ask Kix, right? Because Kix has been on the sidelines. I think you've been on the sidelines, Kix, for a while. I've been watching your tweets and you're like, I'm just going to sit in my cash and I'm not going to make any moves. And when the right move comes along, then I'm going to snipe. And this, like, for me, this is a classic Kix play. You just like, you know, you snipe them in one bullet, you're out. And that's how you make that cash. That was like really you last year. You had amazing plays. And so one, actually, I wanted to ask, why did you choose this one? Because we've had lots of plays in the market. Why did you choose this specific play? And then secondly, Clemente, to answer your question, the market has just become, I think, if you've been sitting on the PFP side and you've only been doing PFPs or like meme or doing shit coins and stuff, there definitely is that side where you just want to like buy and click, right? Buy, click, sell. That's it. I don't want to overthink it. But we're also in a time where there's opportunities for people who understand certain intricacies to take advantage of knowledge that other people don't have. And I think Spencer's tweet about flooring protocol, I think the fact, you know, it's a good tweet. It's simply written. It's all in English, but when you put those words together, even I'm stumped as to what exactly is he talking about here. And it really reminds me of Blur last year at exactly the same time when people didn't understand it. They weren't really looking into it. But guess what? Season 1 was the biggest like airdrop of maybe this year for the people who did participate. So I think there's opportunities for both. There's stuff like this, like Memecoin, where Kix is like sniping in and has chosen this specific play. But there's also stuff which, if you delve into it and understand the intricacies of it, you can actually make some good money on it. But going back to Kix, I wanted to ask, why did you choose this specific drop as your, I'm coming off the bench, I'm going off the field?
Yeah,
coming
well,
onto the field.
yeah, I mean, it's not like I put in like a huge amount. It's just like for like a fun little trade to try to make like an ETH or two. You know, like if I was like, oh man, this is like a for sure thing that I really understand and have high conviction in, I would have put in like multiple ETH. So for me, it's just like a fun trade. But I mean, the reason why I made the trade is simply because of like how I've seen airdrops or these kinds of like launches like work in the space, where it's just for whatever reason, like everything, Blur, ApeCoin, ENS, like literally everything, right? It's like it dumps the first few hours and then it pumps. So it just seems like a trade that's more likely to work out. Like I'm personally not great at meme coin trading in general. Like I'm not trading Pepe or Bitcoin or Mog or any of those things. There's a lot of people out there that's like their area of expertise. It's like not my area of expertise, but this just like seemed to have the same kind of action that a lot of these like airdrop launches have, where, you know, a little bit of supply goes out. The people that want to sell right away and take profits sell in the first couple of hours. And then like when that selling dries up, then like it's pretty easy for like the price to go up. But in terms of you saying like, because some people out there say like, oh, fully diluted valuation like doesn't matter for these things. I mean, it certainly does matter for these things. What the defining factor of how much it matters is your like time horizon. So like for me, if I'm trying to buy this and sell it within 7 days, FDV doesn't matter at all, you know? In circulating, really, it matters to an extent, but it's more just like, hey, have the sellers flushed out and like people are buying. But like if you were like, I'm buying meme to hold this for a year, then like FTV matters a lot more, right? Like people that said FTV didn't matter for ApeCoin were right for the first month when it bottomed out at $5 and it went to $25 or whatever. But FTV certainly did matter when it went from $25 to $1. You know what I mean? So it's like it all depends on your time horizon. And as you said, what is like FTV really? It's the unlocks, right? So like, yeah, you would expect if a big chunk unlocks of 2 months from now, that's going to create like sell pressure for sure. But if the first unlock doesn't happen for 2 months, then it doesn't really matter for 2 months.
Got it. So this sounds like either way, there's going to be a lot of opportunities on like in the time horizon. So if you're someone that can pay attention to everything that's going on, and you're super locked into these unlocks and because we also have, for example, the big unknown for me and that I've seen a lot on Twitter recently has been the meme coin farming, because what's been going on is Memeland has been dropping these quests 2-3 times a week of if you tweet or do a certain activity, you receive points, right? And some of the meme coin farmers were like, hey, when are we going to get those? They have no idea when that's going to happen. So that's also an interesting unlock because meme coin has been getting, or meme land has been getting absolutely bombarded with bots that are farming this thing. They're up to like 2.5 million followers on all their accounts. They've gained literally 2 million followers, which is wild. So it's interesting to see how that's going to play out. And then obviously the future unlocks. So either way, it's a very interesting mechanic that we're seeing play out. And I think, like you were saying, Kicks, it's going to reward those people that are super plugged in and know how to play these airdrop style games. The only thing I wanted to, that was also on my mind as we're watching this play out is we saw GRAPE coin or grapes by Memecoin. These are up 70% in the last 7 days. They're up 30+% in the last 24 hours. They have GRAPE coin coming up. And to me, that feels also like one of these plays where the more plugged in you are, the more you understand the ecosystem, the better this could play out. I was going through the Blur today and I was thinking through the weather report and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, is grapes a buy? And I see them up 75% in the last 7 days. That was interesting. Bunny, I see you're nodding your head.
Anything last week.
Right.
So like now I'd probably just stay away, right? Because it seems up too high, and then like GRAPE coin, it's not gonna. It even the ticker is like weird. It sounds like a derivative of. Sounds like a derivative of ApeCoin. Like it's still and it's a gaming token, right? So I guess big time's done well though.
My only concern on these things, like on a longer term horizon, is that there's just so much out there and like so much stuff that is like launched this year that it comes down to like, attention at the end of the day. So like a lot of these things, it's like hard and there's just limited amount of liquidity out there. Right. So
you're almost an ETH. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild. These things literally 7 days ago were sitting below 0.5.
The art's looking better, dude. Like
it's wild though. And what was also interesting is we saw $16 million in NFT volume yesterday. And I expect that to at least hit 20 million over the weekend, the highest that we've seen since mid-August. So definitely seeing some sentiment. The only other thing I'm curious about, and hear me out on this, is OniForce has not pumped. It's at 0.8. I've been eyeing this. The reason why is basically for the last 4 or 5 months, and the big speculation for when they pumped to the high ones was that people are expecting a potential future airdrop or a coin listing. I know we talked about it with Spencer in the past. That's been his play and his bullish sentiment for OniForce. Do we feel like that's a potential play at some point? Kicks.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think so. It just like depends on, once again, like you gotta think about like meme. I mean, the fact that they were able to like do $10 million in a preset, like that's a lot of money, right? And they've been spending, I mean, almost like 2 years kind of building up to this moment, right? So they've had a lot of momentum and a lot of time to be, build really strong partners. I mean, generally how things in this space work is like the first one to do it crushes it, right? The second one to do it does pretty good. By the time you get to like the third, the fourth, the fifth, the market kind of starts to like equalize a little bit, right? Like,
yeah,
because for everyone that makes money, someone kind of has to get wrecked, right? And like that only can happen so many times. Like, who's the buyer on the other side of your sell before it balances out. So I would expect Memecoin to do good, get like a nice double on it. And as you said, that's like why GRAPE is doing good, because people are like saying, okay, that's the next one. If this is the first one that did good, this is the next one. That one's going to do good, and it'll probably do good. But then like the third, the fourth, the fifth, eventually like the market kind of evens out on the speculation. So yeah, we'll have to see, how it all works out. But I mean, like, Memecoin definitely kind of, just like Bored Ape in 2021, like someone kind of lays out the airdrop. So like Bored Ape Yacht Club laid out like you launch the main collection, you airdrop another one, then you airdrop plus sell a third one, and like how many people copied them, right? And it worked for like the second people that copied them, it worked for like the third people that copied. Eventually we got to a point where then like it was down, you know, after the second collection came out, both collections, right? Because there's only like so much liquidity and the market starts to balance themselves. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense why, you know, GRAPE went up because people are just trying to, you know, play the same play. But like me personally, I think I'll just take the meme coin trade here, make a nice 2x, and like not get greedy and try to chase too many other things.
You're not sweeping grapes at point.
Not going to sweep trades. But I mean, if you are to like make a bull case on it, like who's very well connected, Animoca Brands,
Animoca.
right? Like, I think they just got like $50 million from Saudi Arabia's like
yeah.
$5 billion digital city or something that they're building.
And it's like the same thing we said about Meme Land, right? Like if you were buying captains at 10 ETH, like you're not like jacked up about this airdrop. If you were buying grapes at 0.9, like you're probably not going to cook. But if you were buying them at 0.15, like when they first dropped, then you're probably killing it.
We had literally Tanner from our Discord has been hyper focused on everything grapes related for the last 5 months. Every single day, like update, listening to every single Twitter space, what the airdrop's going to be depending on bunches, and bunches are how long you've been staking your grapes for. And this guy has just been so plugged in, and I mean, he's going to be absolutely dominating. I'm going to be assuming when GRAPE coin comes out, because he's been this hyper plugged in. But it feels like it's getting more intricate for some of these ecosystems, that it's not, hey, just go buy this NFT and hope that, and you're set. It's like, make sure you understand what this tokenomic structure looks like, what the actual play is. And like Kicks, what you were saying, I really appreciate your perspective, because you've gone through these types of airdrops at various times. It's like, know what your plan is before you get into it, and don't just buy the grapes because you see price going up and you hear GRAPE coin coming out. There has to be winners and there has to be losers over a long enough time horizon. Right.
Yeah,
so
and like know like the things that people say that like sound scary, right? So like when people start saying meme's going to take over Pepe, you're like, all right, like why not, dude? Why not, right? But then when that happens, and then people move the goalposts, and they're like, all right, Shibu Inu next, which is a 10x from there. Then you're like, okay, how much can I make right now if I sell? Cool, man. I could buy some real life stuff with that right now. Someone hit sell.
I do feel like we're convoluting shitcoins a little bit too much, right? Like, dude, I just want to buy that thing, like put Pit Vipers on my PFP and like smoke a cigarette and watch the chart. Like, I'm not trying to like learn all these fucking new things. Sure. And like, I need maps.
Different. Bunny, you know that space way better than me. Like that's
no, but you need like maps to unlock my fucking coins. Like, dude, what?
But you know, Bunny, it's interesting, right? Because I mean, you have your skill set and you do all these like shit coins. I can't do it, man. It takes a real tax on my mental health, like having to be in these Discords, having to be in these like Telegram groups. And I'm like, I can't keep up with this. And at some point, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to click a bad link, because you get over summer, I got so fatigued, like trying to keep up with all the meme coins. And I sometimes think like you're like doing like, I don't know, 100 meme coins over 3-4 months. It definitely works for the people who do it like yourself. But in a way, I prefer a Meme Land, a Grapes, an Only Force, if it were to happen, because it's just like, it's slower pace, but it also gives you time just to be like, okay, I've got 5 months, 4 months, or whatever, just to figure out what a map is, what a treasure box is, what bunch of kind of grapes. The point is, I've got time and I don't need to move at like lightning speed and not make a mistake and get drained. I think, and like drained mentally and then drained financially. So I think like both can work really well, but it's a case of like, you know your lane, so stay in your lane kind of thing. Because I find like if you try and do both, like mentally it becomes quite taxing, and it depends what else is going on in your life. But you know, like it's difficult to do 5, 6, 7, 8 things well rather than trying to just do one really well.
100%. I think another interesting thing you could do here, if you were like a super degen, is you could probably buy, like if you think meme coin's going to double, you could probably buy like whatever like the call options are on Blur. I forget what they call them, like buy now, pay later or whatever.
The nipple,
like yeah, you could do those on like captains and on the potatoes, right? And then you could almost like leverage your degenness. because you would think those would move up. Like if Memecoin goes to 0.056, then like Captain should be like 7, right? And Potatoes should be 2. I mean, that's like kind of the good and the bad of like the correlation, right? Is like if Memecoin just goes up, it's going to drag all of the assets up with it,
or down, right? If the price, like, and that's why I'm trying to figure out. It's so much. I appreciate you bringing that up, Signal. The thesis for this is so much different than like a Pepe, where I literally can just buy this thing. I don't have to worry about unlocks or what's this going to staking. It's literally, I'm buying this thing because I think in the next 6 months, it's going to get listed on Coinbase. And I think that if it gets listed on Coinbase, I can make a 50% to a 2x from it. And I'll take my profits and move that into something more stable like ETH or whatever. Right. But with Meme, it's a completely different kind of a thesis you have to bring to the table. Kicks, one thing I was thinking about is it feels like this complexity that we're seeing in the NFT market and crypto right now. It feels like we haven't had this level of like, I'm excited about it, honestly, because it feels like I'm trying to remember like a year and some change ago, this level of complexity existed with like almost every single NFT project, which it was like, there was like a roadmap. There were all these different things that you had to be paying attention to and upcoming announcements and catalysts. We haven't had that in so long that it feels like all of a sudden, if you're able to pick 1 or 2 spots that, like Signal was saying, fit your strengths and you're staying in it and you're patient, you can like set yourself up for some really like high level profit taking opportunities in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And also like understanding like where you are on like the time horizon. I think that's like what Bunny was kind of saying is like, you know, the play, right? Like, cause like Memecoin's up like 40% from like 0.02, but you could have just bought grapes at 0.15 and now they're 0.9. You know what I mean? Like basically you want to zig when people are like zagging outside of like outside of like short-term things. So that's why like when you mentioned like, you know, Oniforce and stuff like that, like what's next down the totem pole, that stuff's definitely interesting. The only counter to that is like the farther you go away from the first big event, the less money there is potentially.
Grapes was risky back then, though. I could be wrong, but I don't even think they minted out. I think that was like a cut supply and then Moon, and then they announced a coin. So, like, if you were buying there, like, you really were zigging when everybody else was zagging.
That's a great, like it's so easy for me, like, especially when we're doing this and you're in it every single day. It's so easy to get like emotion, be like, okay, if Meme cooked, I'm buying grapes. Let's go. Yeah. But then you have probably the guys like you were saying, Bunny, that were buying this like sub 0.2 ETH. They're now going, oh, okay, this is my exit. Like I'm getting the hell. This thing's at 0.8. Like hallelujah, that's a 4x. I'm getting the hell out of here, especially with the price appreciation that crypto's been seeing. That's a huge win. But I'm sure there's many of them that now are using this as an opportunity for exit liquidity. Anything else before I want to move on to ApeFest because I think there's some very interesting action going on there. But any closing thoughts from Bunny, Sig, or Kicks? Anything Memecoin related?
I just think it was a great launch by and execution by their team over there. We had, you know, ran the show. Was it earlier this year, or maybe late last year? But I mean, they've been doing this for a while now and like building towards this event. I think it was, you know, very well executed, and I think that the people that were like bullish and held like very early on are being rewarded, and that's like what we're all like looking for in the space. So I think that's really awesome. And then enough of these things happen, and usually some like liquidity kind of flows back to the NFTs. I don't know. This year's been really different though, with all like the meme. People have traded meme coins instead of NFTs. Just easier, one-click buy and sell instead of juggling a bunch of pictures. But I think just overall, just it's fun to see stuff happening. You know what I mean? Like instead of just like watching the paint dry. Or
I think the reality for like a lot of traders is just like there's no shot at it 100x really in NFTs anymore, right? Like it's basically an impossibility.
Yeah, it's people chopping each other up for 30% blur gains.
You know what? But I actually think it's a good thing, Bunny, when like lots of people are thinking like that, it means that there's other opportunities. And I think this is a testament to exactly what you've just said. Like there won't be, say, those 100 X's, but there's loads of other stuff out there. And, you know, Kicks, I agree with you. It's just nice to see action happening. Like that good old, like meme pump. So like grapes pump, guys, 12 months ago, we would have been all over that. I'm actually kicking myself. All of us on like who have been listening to this show for like 12 months. If you were on that, well done. Because I felt like when he said it, that was the most obvious move. I was like, damn, how did I not see that? Of course, that next one pumps. So it's good to see the action. I think the action continues until the end of Q4. Then we have the surprise in December. There's always something in December, always like Santa drops something to all of us. January kicks off with a pump, and then it goes quiet again. So I'm like, Q4, get those bookings in, because next year, you know, towards the end of Jan, it always goes a bit quiet again. So it's a good time to be making K-ish.
Hell yeah. Just to wrap up the conversation, guys, Memecoin is up to almost a $2 billion fully diluted market cap. So it's up another.
He's getting close to that.
Yeah, he's getting close. Later, he's fired up. He's gonna start moving his price target.
You gotta look at those goalposts, man. Kicks is like everybody moves goalposts. You're gonna see him moving his.
I'd be able to squeeze a 4x out of this, Kicks.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I sold 209 Pepe's. I mean, this shit may cook way further. We'll see.
We'll see. The only other thing, Signal, that on top of that, going forward in the next 2 weeks, we have the Blur season 2 ending. That's the big thing that I'm thinking about, that I'm very like, I don't know, like to me, left curving this or trying to be like outside of what people are thinking. Just to wrap this up, I'm potentially looking at like a U in the 0.5 zone. That seems interesting to me. It feels like everyone's shitting on Frank. Anyways, but we can talk about that another time. Let's move on to ApeFest. Bunny. Well, I have a couple things on here. So first off, yesterday, so we had an ApeFest holder exclusive sale, a merch sale. They had a bunch of different things. And the thing that surprised me is that people are basically treating these like collectibles. People are not buying this as a normal NFT merch drop. I saw multiple people spending like tens of thousands of dollars. They bought like 300 hats and like 500 shirts. I was like, what the hell is going on? Bunny, did you get any of the merch? I'm curious what you thought of all the activity.
I did not. So I don't know if you saw, but there was like a little bit of FUD around it. It opened up, and then like the site crashed, right? So it was like a tough time for some people. They didn't give you like a time frame for when it was going to reopen, and then they reopened it at 1 a.m. on the East Coast. So I was actually sleeping already. And then a lot of the items sold out. So people were like complaining that there should be merch. I don't know. What are you going to do? Everybody could buy every item. Like that sounds ridiculous too. But there was like some different stuff this time. There was like an ashtray. The flask was pretty cool. I've never used the flask once in my entire life. So like, I don't know. I also was like too lazy to even, if I was up, I probably would have been too lazy to like take out my ledger, connect it to the site, and then buy merch, to be completely honest. But I've seen people buying like 11 grand. But that's how the Bored Ape merch. I like that the Bored Ape merch is like that, dude. Like I want that shit to sell out, and then either people keep it like forever, or like you used to be able to flip the merch for a pretty penny, dude. I like that.
You probably will be able to, right? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, because merch, like NFTs, the problem is unless they get like lost, there's no wear and tear, right? But like the physicals, you know, like people are gonna lose them or wear them out over time. So some mad genius, you know, if Yuga Labs is crushing it 10 years from now, we'll have some of this like early
the
vintage
Bape
stuff.
shoes or something, right? There'll be like one pair in existence left.
Yeah, like unused, you know, like in the box, still got the shrink wrap on it.
So this is what I think is really interesting, right? So I'm looking at Yuga Labs as a business, right? And outside of gaming, right? Outside of gaming, when you look at them being able to make money, I don't see them being able to sell on like doing another 12-fold or doing another drop where they make X amount of millions of dollars. But I'm looking at this drop and I'm thinking like, oh, Bored Apes are basically seen as this. Could it be a supreme level clothing company? They had a collaboration with Bape, which is freaking big. We'll see how that goes tonight. But this could be a huge revenue source for them to become like this luxury clothing company. Bunny, I see you nodding. Do you, like,
People love the merch too, dude. Like, I agree with you 100%.
my only problem is like right now, when I see a Bored Ape on a shirt, it doesn't make me want to buy one. Like, I don't, to me, because I'm not a holder, if I'm in the streets, to me, it doesn't feel cool to wear that right now. I'm going to be honest. That's my only issue with it. But if it becomes a cool brand, right? And people are like, all of a sudden, people are like, oh, like Bored Apes are cool again. That would be such a wild thing to see. And it's such a like a bullish Yuga
How
as a
much of that
business.
do you think is tied to the floor price? Because I feel like when they were worth fucking $500,000, like it was cool.
Yeah, it also depends on like what you're buying. If you're buying like a Walmart Bored Ape graphic tee, like graphic tees just they ain't cool. Like I'm sure you can dress them up with other fashion stuff and make them cooler, but let's be honest, like a square graphic print tee is like never like cool, right? But like if someone's rocking, it's like Nike, right? You can go buy like a Nike graphic t-shirt that costs $25. Like it's Nike, but it's not like cool Nike. And then there's like high-end Nike stuff that you can get that like looks cool, right?
I don't know,
Like
man. I feel like
that's cool.
I don't know. I'm like with Yuga right now. I feel like pick a lane. Just like what Daniel was saying in his tweet. I just feel like right now like just get it right. Pick that lane, get it right, and go for it. Like we've got the gaming, we've got the art, we've got all the collectibles. There's like so much going on, and I think Allegro, he really summarized what are the challenges in the next 12 to 18 months that need to be addressed. And I think just being clear on the message of what they're trying to do is super important. Like now then coming out and potentially becoming like a global luxury fashion brand. I'm like, guys, it's like just it's too much. It's just too much. I want Yuga to succeed. Don't get me wrong. I want them to succeed, but I want them to succeed in like that one thing that they become known for. And then afterwards, you can go to like clothing if you want to go to clothing. You can go to all these other things. But like I feel like they have the biggest treasury. They probably have some of the best team talent out there. Like just specialize, get it right. If it's gaming, go for gaming. And then afterwards, go for the world. But for now, just get it right, what they currently have. That's for me is what is missing, because they clearly have the reputation and the connections to be able to attract the biggest partnerships in the world. But it just feels like I want them to get this one thing right.
I actually think the merch is the one thing they do get right, though, right? I feel like they knock it out of the park every time.
But do you think they can build a brand which is global and big enough at the current valuation that they raise that? Because that's also something that the business has to keep in mind, that they need to get a return for the investors who, put that money in 2 years ago when unfortunately the market was extremely frothy. So it's kind of like, is that the path to getting back, that money? I don't know. But I like the merch.
It's been a slam dunk every time, though. Like, I don't know. I like that people were buying bathrobes in fucking Miami, right? Like,
I'd buy a bathrobe.
Did you? I don't know.
I would. I like bathrobes.
Oh yeah, I would have too. I don't know if they'll be the next Supreme, right? But like at the very least, it's the best revenue generator that they have going on, right? Like their merch sells out almost every time. And then Clemente, you said they won't have another like $12 million raise with an NFT. But before 12-fold, we would have said the same thing, right? And then you had the Taproot upgrade, which made the ordinals possible. And then that was like a lane for them. So like, I don't know, dude. You never know, man. You never know.
Moving the next piece that I was curious about is we're talking ApeFest right now. There's a couple exciting activations that I know Yuga has planned for it. When you look at Bored Apes, Bunny, you were number 3 in the October game that we played. Yuga was up like, I think they were up 20%. Bored Apes were up 20% in the month of October. Do you feel like strictly from a floor price point of view, is there performance risk in ApeFest? Is there a world where Yuga delivers something, whether it's done well or not done well, not related to like airdrops or anything, that could be a bullish catalyst or that could affect Bored Apes floor price going into ApeFest?
Probably. Right? Like, I don't think they're going to do an airdrop, but dude, I really don't know.
I was also looking at the event, right? Like I saw some people going in and claiming the wristbands, doing an outside. Yeah, that BMW activation is going to be really interesting. And from BMW's point of view, what went on in their heads to be like, yeah, let's do this. Like, what's in it for them where they're excited about partnering up with Yuga. But my point was, I looked at the pictures from ApeFest and I see people getting set up, getting settled in there. It's like a full blown insane event. Like there is some serious money that was spent getting this thing to knock it out of the park. I'm very curious how much money they spent in getting all this set up and what the potential like return on this. Like, are they planning on doing this every single year, Bunny?
It's 3 in a row, right? I mean, maybe it pivots to the club, right? They said that the clubhouse is still coming, the IRL clubhouse. So, like, is there a chance it just ends up in Miami at that clubhouse every year? I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But, like, are they losing money on this, though, right? Like,
They have to be.
I don't they got sponsors.
Magic Eden and I mean, I don't know what the other sponsors. I know Magic Eden and
Magic Eden was like
BMW.
the principal sponsor. They had like the thing with BMW. I don't know. Is BMW paying them some cash? Maybe.
They have maybe the other thing is for Magic. I thought it was very interesting that Magic Eden was a sponsor from my point of view on like what's in it for them other than like potentially do it. Like, what do they want to do a drop with them, or is Yuga Labs going to be like, hey, we're going to offer a specific promotion if you buy on Magic Eden? I was very interested, and I'm very curious to see.
I've heard that sponsorship is going to lead to all Yuga assets being only tradable, exclusively tradable on Magic Eden's platform. That's like what I've heard.
That would make sense. Or like they do like an L2. It's like the marketplace of their L2 kind of thing. Like Magic Eden is the ape chain, marketplace.
If Nick was here, that would be breaking news, and then that would be official breaking news, Bunny. I feel like we have a breaking news sound.
I don't have the air horn. I have crickets. Which one? That doesn't fit.
That is not a cricket news. That's huge news, but it feels like that feels like it was coming, considering what OpenSea's been doing. So they just kind of like run off with their best friend.
They came out publicly against OpenSea, right? So I don't think it would be surprising if they do announce that.
They can't be huge fans of Blurs. Like Blur, I don't think they're massive fans of anything Blur has going on. Looks rare, nothing. So that would be super interesting, Bunny, to see like, hey, we're going to do that would be massive. We're going to say this again, ladies and gentlemen. These are rumors that we're seeing coming up from an undisclosed source, according to Bunny, that this weekend we might see an announcement with Magic Eden and Bored Ape Yacht Club doing an exclusive trading only on Magic Eden of all Yuga assets going forward. Unconfirmed.
I think that'd be huge for Magic Eden.
Massive.
Massive for them. And they get shit on a lot by like people love trolling them, but that would be a huge move for them.
I like Magic Eden. I like how quickly they were like the first like legit marketplace for ordinal trading. So like I used them for ordinal trading, which was cool. So yeah, I mean,
first of all, I seen a commenter saying I got it from my bowling team members. I'm not in a bowling league. I'm in a cornhole league. Totally different. A lot more athletic.
That's it. I'm really interested to see that. I definitely feel, from my perspective, that we're going to see they have some announcement coming up. They have to have been thinking like, hey, how can we make this a home run? I'm trying to think last year's ApeFest, there wasn't anything announced, right, Bunny? They just do a pretty kick-ass event in New York. They had some rappers come out and it was like a good time, but that wasn't like, I don't think many people consider that a home run from the Bored Ape community.
I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was a home run. I mean, people were pissed. There was a headliner that like got canceled. I'm laughing at that comment. There was a headliner that got canceled. The rumor was it was supposed to be like Bieber, and it ended up just being Questlove like DJing for the 100th time. So that was like the only FUD. But I mean, it was free food and free drinks for what, 3 or 4 days. I mean,
that's a lot of food and drinks, dude.
That's a whole lot of food.
Airdrop, dude.
What would be interesting as well is I saw a comment from Jay making royalties programmable and enforced on Magic.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. That's like the assumption with that, right?
So, damn. Okay. Hell
Which is
yeah.
weird,
Well,
didn't Magic Eden start the royalty conversation?
I remember all those.
Oh, have the turns table.
Solana's always first with this stuff though, because I remember
Uh,
and it's definitely a Solana entity that started the whole, yeah, we're not paying royalties anymore. But I don't want to say it's Magic Eden because I don't remember from that far back. But I do remember Easy saying that this has been a thing on Solana for way before it was a thing on Ethereum.
If I remember correctly, it was Magic Eden and Frank, basically, like who pushed that conversation.
Very.
Oh, you're just throwing them under the bus now.
Yeah, Frank, really.
Making Clemente bullish on his Utes bottom buy here because he's like, wait, there's a connection here now from Frank to Bored Ape through Magic Eden. Could this be a three-way play here? New chain.
Yeah,
Royalties
I just got a text from Bunny's bowling league captain. He said that Utes are going to be bridging back to Solana. And
I
they're
was
also going
just
to be
thinking this. I'm like, all roads lead back to Solana. All roads. Pio and Easy and Nick are going to be super bullish on this if that turns out to be true, because it's just like leading us back to Solana.
I don't feel like there's any world where they would come back to Solana. They would get destroyed.
No, but like apes coming over to Solana is kind of like, the big swinging dick going over to like that part of the neighborhood, and then everybody else comes over. It's just like, it's Yuga, man. They've still got clout. If they move, others follow. It's a very weird round trip happening over these next 12 months.
That would break so many people's brains, dude. They would be so fucking angry and like confused. I still think they probably like potentially do their own L2. I think that would be like the play. Like, try to be like a Ronin, but their own L2 kind of thing. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on anything ApeFest?
Yeah, hold on. Easy's calling. He's texting me saying I'm an idiot, and it was future traders who started. He said it was an after effect from Magic Eden and D Gods. He literally texted me, wrong, idiot.
No. Yeah. No, but you're right. Like, I think someone else did it, and then Magic Eden was like the biggest marketplace and matched them doing it. Magic Eden, pretty much like brought it to the market.
Maybe they didn't invent it, but they were the ones like pushing the narrative. Like, and they were
the biggest smartphone, right? No one's saying that. Yeah,
he didn't even show up to work today. He didn't even show up to work today. Like, tell him to hit the fucking purple button in the right-hand corner if he's got something to say.
Yeah, if he wants to air us out, he can let us know. That the private texting is crazy. Let us all get in on the action. Easy. Before we close out the show, any closing thoughts on ApeFest? Bunny, are you getting any FOMO at all from this? It looks like a pretty kick-ass event. I will say, like,
I can't imagine myself sitting on a plane for 17 straight hours. That's like the honest truth. That is so long.
Would you bring your kids, or you just go solo?
Oh, dude, I brought them to NFT LA, and that was an absolute nightmare. So I can't imagine.
Sounds like a nightmare, dude.
I can't, dude. It was so bad. First of all, our babysitter canceled.
Oh my god!
An hour before she was supposed to be.
And then I just know that awkward conversation with your wife. Where you're like, "Hey, so I'm gonna kind of get out of here for a couple hours." So
that is what happened, and luckily she went on care.com and like found a backup so she could meet us out. But I was like, I gotta get out the door. There was a basketball game on too, so I was like, I gotta get there before the tip, dude.
There's a lot of important stuff going on. Just the tip.
I've got one question for the closing, guys, because we haven't even talked about it. The fact that Bankman is guilty. Can we have some guesses or the over-under?
It's a Memeland though, right? Memeland stole
stole the thunder, man. But guys, come on, sentencing is happening next year in March. I still don't know why it takes so long to get a sentence. Maybe a lawyer can explain why it takes so long, but we know he's guilty. Guys, let's get the over-under. What do you think is going to happen in March? And then we'll clip this back.
The minimum is what, 35, right? I think each count or each charge is like a 5-year minimum. So like you had Easy who was saying he was gonna be. Do you want to talk about dumb idiots? He was saying like under 5 years for a while, right? Like it's not possible anymore. Like nobody moves the goalpost more than conspiracy theorists, right? So now they're gonna be like, now they'll start saying he's gonna Epstein himself in jail, right? And then after that they'll move the goalpost again to like, well, he's in like a Martha Stewart prison. He's not even really in jail. but like he's got to be going for at least 50 years, I think.
Damn, dude.
Over or under 50 years, because that's literally what I put as the title was over or under 50 years. I feel like that's the and let's assume there's no second trial, because there's a second trial where apparently there's 5 more charges that they want to lay on him.
I'm going over. I think he might get close to the maximum. I feel like they're gonna make an example. They hate crypto, right? They're gonna make an example out of him.
Signal.
I'm gonna go 35 years. I'm gonna go 35 years.
Wow. Okay. So you think it's on the lower end kicks?
Shit, I got no fucking idea, man. That's crazy. That's a yeah. 30. How old is he gonna be at 35 years? How old is he right now?
Think about how much his crypto will be worth though when he gets out.
Yeah, 60.
31.
He's 31, so he'll be just over 60 when he gets out.
Yeah, just for perspective, that's 2058.
Jesus. All right. I'm laying down my prediction. He's doing triple digits. He's doing triple digits.
Triple digits. I like it.
This guy got clapped during the entire trial. They dominated him. They absolutely dominated him. The judge,
I've never seen a jury come back quicker, but he met for like 15 minutes, like ordered lunch, and they're like, this thing's done.
The judge was literally just the entire time. The judge was like, what do we like? This is insane. This is absurd. Yeah, I think he gets triple digits.
Did you see when his lawyer objected to a question? It was sustained, and then SBF answered it anyway, right? And his lawyer was like, you know that you don't have to answer.
It's like, how many weeks have you been here?
That's what his lawyer asked him. He's like, how many weeks have you been here, dude? Like, even his own lawyer hates him.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine being SBF's lawyer and you're like, all right, I got to get this guy Adderall. Like, he's like, you got to get
pays well.
And yeah, I'm very curious to see how that one plays out. But that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty kick-ass, a lot of fun. Great energy today. We had a lot of stuff to cover. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you missed part of the show, you can listen in. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. Don't forget to check us out there. And we will be back on Monday. Thanks so much for listening. We'll have the full crew back on scene. Actually, Nick's going on vacation. He's going to a little Aruba. So we'll he'll be living it up there. But we will see you all on Monday. We'll be talking all things ApeFest, rallying if anything happened there. If Bunny's bowling captain rumors were true. And we will see you all then. But thank you all for listening.